Yo, what's good, family? What's good? So here's the deal, man. Mathematics, right? In mathematics, they basically, in the word mathematics, it basically says ma in there, right? So obviously, mathematics has something to do with feminine energy, okay? But they, in their schools, though, they use mathematics as a masculine trait to actually condition us, right, in a masculine way. So it's school, man. You already know what school is. School is basically a curriculum. You know what I'm saying? And Rashad Jamal basically said it best. The curriculum in magic is basically a potion. They basically bamboozled our asses, okay? So we got to get out of that, because they basically regulated mathematics. You know what I'm saying? And mathematics is like one of the most important things, you know what I'm saying? Especially numbers. Numbers is like one of the most important things in, you know what I'm saying, spirituality. So talking about mathematics on here, man, and my downloads about mathematics is gonna be crazy, man. But bear with me. Um, so basically in kindergarten, you know what I mean, like kids or children, you know what I'm saying? Children, they literally are on a higher frequency than grown folks, you feel me? So when you talk about, yeah, I'm grown, you ain't really grown. You ain't grown no more. You feel me? You being grown was your child self because you literally had a higher frequency in a higher spiritual mindset because your feminine energy was not out. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't conditioned yet. You feel me? So as a kid, you are grown. And that kind of sounds weird for a little people, for a lot of people out there, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, you are grown because you have a higher frequency than any other adult that's around, you know? So that's just me though. But speaking of adults though, I basically broke down the word adult, and you calling yourself adult just means that you are an ultimate addition to their system. Okay? That's just why they call you adults after you graduate. All right? This is some crazy shit because like they already have a system in place for you. You are just the ultimate addition to that system in order for it to work, right? So that's the reason why they basically tell you, hey, you are an adult. Okay. They trying to trick you. They trying to trick you with that. All right. All of this basic mathematics shit, man. Basically, they just toying with us, right? They toying with us because all of the symbols that they use, you know what I'm saying? All of the numbers that actually mean something in numerology, it's crazy. I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, timetables, right? Multiplying. They use X. They use X, and we already know what X is, right? X is the feminine energy. It's the feminine energy, right? It's X is chaos. X is basically creation. All right. It's that's the reason why women have double X's, all right, and men have XY, right? And they try to mind fuck you always. You know what I mean? They'll try to have an equation in there in school to where the X would be in the equation and then the Y would be like the total number and shit. And that's symbology within itself, you know what I'm saying? Because X is the origin. So X is first. You have to put X in there and solve the problem so you can get Y. There's no Y without the X. Okay. So it does make sense in that perspective. All right. It does make sense in that perspective. But for them to actually have equals Y, it's basically a masculine thing with that. Okay. Now if they would have did it backwards and said Y, you need a Y to you know what I'm saying, have a X total, then it wouldn't make sense. Okay. It wouldn't make sense because now you're basically saying, hey, Y comes from X. No, X comes from Y. Sorry about that. You're basically saying X comes from Y, and that's not the case. You know how you could create a Y? You write an X and then chop off the right leg. That's a Y. Literally, that's a Y. So it's crazy, man, because they use X as multiplication, right? multiplying. Why do they do that? Because X is chaotic. Okay, when it comes to creation, the thought of creation, right? The thought of creation, you have all of these ideas, but you don't know how to actually focus on one idea at a time and manifest that one idea. You're just all over the place. So the energy is very powerful, very, very powerful. And if you don't know how to control it with your masculine energy, then you will be everywhere with it. Okay, that's why you see a lot of women out here being indecisive, right? Because they just, so many thoughts is running through their head, so many ideas is running through their head, and usually it'll be their boyfriend or their sons, or what I'm saying, or even their girlfriends. Like they'll just tell them like, hey, just relax, you know what I'm saying, this is what you got to do, don't even hesitate, you know what I mean, this and that, right? So that's the reason why, like, a lot of girls do be indecisive. And it's not a bad thing at all. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just how they are based upon their X chromosome. Okay. So that's what the X is. I could give you another one talking about division, right? The sign of division, right, is basically two dots, a dot at the top and a dot at the bottom with a line through it. Right, that basically the two dots that's in division, that basically represents duality in all things, as above so below, as within so without, right? And then the line represents the Christ that's in you. Okay, it represents Heru, it represents hero, it represents Hercules, you know what I'm saying, it represents Christhood, your soul. All right, it represents your soul. And if you actually look, right, if you look at the addition sign, right, I'm gonna go back to the division in a minute, but if you look at the addition sign, right, that's basically the top part is basically your body. This part right here, that's inside the top part, is your soul. Okay, that's the reason why in the cross, Jesus died on the cross, right? The cross represents Christ, and then Jesus represents the flesh. Okay, if you look at, because Bobby Hemming broke this down like super well, but as far as modern day Christianity, the book, right, the book of the Bible, if you take the book of the Bible and you take the Gnostic text, right, the Gnostic text is basically an extended version of the Bible. Okay, now what's inside the Gnostic text? The Gnostic text is basically the esoteric you. Okay, so it deals with all of your insides. Okay, what's inside of you in a spiritual way. The Bible is basically talking about morality, right? So it's dealing with the exoteric you, like outside, you know what I'm saying, the atmosphere. Okay, it's not dealing with anything that's inside. All right, if you take those two books together, you will have a true pharaonic thought. What is the true pharaonic thought? The direct truth of who you really are. Okay, so I would advise, like, all of my Christians out there to actually read the Gnostics, okay, because that is a missing link to all of your questions that you have that doesn't make sense with the Bible. Okay, so with that being said, right, if you actually look, right, if you actually look at the addition sign or the cross sign, whatever you want to call it, right, it's like this. But when you reach to your higher self, it's like the Christ is moving counterclockwise, right? When you reach to your higher self, it creates a one, okay? That one represents wholeness, right? It represents the higher you. It represents you and your flesh, right? Your Christhood and your flesh being together and evolving as the butterfly, right? Because I talked about the metaphor of us being the caterpillars back then, and present day now we are in the cocoons because our soul is basically condensed inside these bodies. So we are waking up. So our soul is actually waking up through the Kundalini energy. All right. So we are in cocoon still right now, and we are going to evolve into a butterfly, right? This is the cocoon state. The butterfly state is this. Okay. So that's the reason why they have a plus sign, because you have two things that represent you that are together. It's just one is asleep and doesn't know how to actually rise. So the flesh has to help it rise. You feel me? So that's basically what the addition means. You feel me? And I literally had to break that down, and I was like, damn. So, so let's go back to division now. Okay. Duality in all things, as above, so below, as within, so without, right? Based on the two dots and the line that represents the Christ. Check this out. With Baphomet, right? If you take the picture of the Baphomet, right? He has a position that's like this, and then he has one that's like this, right? He's basically saying the same thing that I'm saying. As above, so below. As within, so without. But the star that's on his forehead, right, represents the planet Saturn. Okay, it represents planet Saturn, and planet Saturn represents the zodiac Capricorn. And if you look at Capricorn's animal, it kind of looks like the Baphomet, right? Okay, so also, if you also want proof of this, right? In Egyptian mythology, you see that Baphomet got the horns, right? In the Egyptian mythology, you got goddesses in the Egyptian mythology that's wearing horns. Okay, you got Isis. I know Isis is wearing horns, right? And then you have Hathor that wears horns as well. Okay, so I mean, basically, they call the Baphomet Satan. You feel me? In society, right? They say, oh, this is what Satan looks like, right? But another man's God is another man's devil. You feel me? The oppressor's God is basically our devil. But the oppressor's devil is us. We are their Satan, pretty much. Okay? You got to look at it like that. So, since that's the case, right? The minus sign. Okay? The minus sign. We already know what the minus sign is. It's Christ, right? But they tell you that just because, like, they put Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying? Jesus' last name is Christ, and he's just this lovable person. You feel me? Peaceful person. No. The Christ that shows in mythology, whether it's in Greek mythology, whether it's in Egyptian mythology, does one thing and one thing only. It kicks ass. Like what Bobby Hemmings said. It kicks ass. Okay? That's all it does. Just kicks ass and make sure that it eradicates anything that's not supposed to be here. Okay? Or anything that's vibrating low. That Christhood is in you, which is called the soul. All right? The more and more your Kundalini rises and touches your pineal gland, the more and more your soul will wake up inside of you. And you will start shining like a goddamn firefly's tail. This is some true shit, okay? This is what we want to get to. You know, that's the reason why the sun is like 100 degrees right now in the summertime. It's because UV rays is trying to give you download to this shit, you know, because your pigmentation, your neuromelanin can be able to absorb those UV rays, right? And since your ancestors know this, you feel me? They decided to put knowledge inside the UV rays. Now, every single time we out in the sun, we start to wake up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? People are actually growing out their hair now. You know what I'm saying? People are actually trying to eat healthier now. People are trying to work out now. You feel me? Things weren't the same 10 years ago. You know? There's a reason for that. You know, people are thinking differently about their jobs now. Like, people are quitting. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that's changing. You know, people are fasting. It's we out here. We out here, and the more and more this sun is actually out, the more and more we gonna get these downloads. You feel me? We gonna get these feelings of what we supposed to do and where we supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So I'm only telling y'all this based on mathematics because mathematics is totally important, okay, when it comes to spirituality. All right, super important, because after this I want you guys to actually study mathematics. You feel me? Um study the high advanced mathematics that we have, like numerology, repeating numbers, right? Study the astrology, you know what I'm saying? Zodiacs, you feel me? Tarot readings, study that shit. Study life path numbers, you feel me? Make sure that you know your life path number. You know what I mean? Google basically can help you out with that, you know, because they have the right how can I say it? They have the right steps in order for you to take in order for you to actually find your life path number. Okay. So I would advise you guys to actually research this. Okay. Figure out numerology, figure out all of that. All right. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to know these things. You feel me? You're going to have to know these things. And a lot of people don't know. I already know, like, a lot of people probably ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. You feel me? But certain people will. You know what I mean? And if you ain't intrigued by this information, then you're not ready for it yet. You know, you got to be intrigued to actually look up this information yourself and you know, go within on a lot of downloads that you can get from this information. You know, but that's called being intrigued. You actually wanting to learn more. But if you're not intrigued by this information yet, then you wasn't supposed to get this yet. You know, that's just like me. I've watched a lot of conscious people, right? Certain conscious people I was intrigued by, and I would actually look up the information, right? Other conscious people, you know, I wasn't intrigued by. So, you know, I wasn't ready for that advanced level of information yet. So I had to go back, relearn some shit, and then watch the video again. And I was ready for it that time. You know, that's just how life is, man. So I get it either way, you know what I mean? But I love y'all. This is just a quick, you know what I'm saying, lesson. This is just a quick download of me giving y'all like symbols of what they basically give you in your face, you know what I'm saying? Because school is basically a conditioner, you feel me? And the more and more you actually go into school, right? This is deep within itself. They always tell you that you're learning something in school, right? But really, school is nothing but discipline. You know, if you behave, listen to your teacher, and study the things that your teacher tell you instead of what you tell yourself, you know, something that you're not intrigued by, then you get A's and B's. You feel me? And all you doing is just writing down what the teacher write down. Write down what the teacher be saying to you. And then they test you to see if you're disciplined enough, you feel me, to be out into the world. They test you to see if your feminine energy is gone. That's how you get A's and B's. But if your feminine energy ain't gone and you like, man, all of this is just some bullshit, laid back and you worried about other things, or you're thinking about other things, then they'll give you D's and F's, right? Even though F stands for female. Right? The psychology of the shit. A stands for adults. F stands for female or feminine energy. You got to look at it like that. There's a reason why they use A all the way to F. A is like, oh yeah, they're ready to actually be disciplined enough so that way we can fuck them over. B is like, okay, they getting there. C is like, okay, they in the middle. We need to try something different. D and F is like, well, I can't teach them nothing. They too far out in their feminine energy. Nothing is wrong with you. You're not stupid. You feel me? You're not crazy. Nothing is wrong with you if you get D's and F's. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to tell y'all this so that way y'all could go out and get D's and F's so that way your parents can whoop your ass. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you this because we have a different mindset, okay? They're trying to destroy that mindset so that way you can have a different one for their system, all right? And y'all got to look at the shit that they giving y'all. Basic science has numbers in it. Even English have numbers in it, and you dealing with letters. You need one letter in order for it to be a letter, and they tell you to spell it. In order for it to be a word, it has to be more than one letter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You feel me? Certain letters look like numbers. I'm just saying, y'all. Shit be getting real in school. So pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to play that game. You feel me? But if you have to, play it. But also keep in mind that you know the game. Figure out how to cheat it. Because right now, they are cheating you out of your spirituality. And it's not fair. Okay? It never has been. You were basically oppressed from the get-go, ever since daycare, or ever since pre-K. Trying to tell y'all, man. But I love y'all so much, regardless of your race, color, gender. You feel me? I love y'all because y'all represent creation. You feel me? Y'all represent, you know what I'm saying, the multiplication of things. Okay? We don't die, we multiply. All right? Peace. Peace to everybody. I'm out.